And let me see what else. I got stuff all over here. Little elm here. Kind of, the leaves got a little burned. This here's a podocarpus I got for $3 down at Gulf Shores, Alabama, and it was a lot smaller when I got it. This is not a bonsai, but it's interesting. This is called a bullhorn acacia. Can you see all the thorns on it? Look like the horns on a bull. And then this here is a San Jose juniper. This one here. And he's really been struggling, but I've had him since early 1980s. And this is another root off of Nerifolia. This is a little Hinoki cypress. And down here are some shimpakus that I just started from cuttings. This here is a seedling bean kumquat. You can see the fruit on it. This tree comes from southern China, and they only grow about 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide, and have a lot of thorns on them and put out a lot of fruit. This here is a little blowy juniper. This here is a Seiju elm. And this here is a Hinoki cypress that I planted on a piece of pumice about 20-something years ago. And this here is a frosty elm. In the spring you can see that each leaf is edged in white. At this time of the year it kind of fades out, you know. This here is a trident maple, and if you see the branching on it, this was air-layered off the apex of another trident. These are, I just messed around with these guys here. These are Washington hawthorns. And behind us here is, these are Ibi-Igawa shimpakus. I think I said it right, I'm not sure. And that there is a narrow leaf fig. And this here, I'm not sure what it is. It's a type of apple tree. It came from Omaha, Nebraska. It belonged to a little Japanese man that went back to Japan and couldn't take the tree with him. You can tell by the surface roots it's an air layer. Every spring this tree is covered with fruit and with blooms, and then you get the little fruit on it, and they have little apple type seeds in them, and they germinate about 100%. This is a very old ginkgo. This is Chichi-Icho. You look down here, you can see the little breasts that form on it. Chichi means breast in Japanese. This is a Japanese black pine I'm working on, and I'm real happy the way he's coming out. He's really doing a lot of back budding. This is a souring look in the back. This is the back of a Robusta juniper I did about 1981, and it started dying back, but now it's popping out up here, so we'll have to see what happens. This here is an Ito-Igawa shimpaku that I started from a cutting about 3 inches long, and it's getting a nice big trunk on it. Look at that. And next year I'll probably go to work on this. This here's a Japanese golden larch in a nursery pot. This someday will be a cascade Procumbens nana. Here's another Ito-Igawa. This is a podocarpus, but the small leaf type. And this guy here is a tiger bark fig. And when the light's right, the trunk is just beautiful, all the markings on it. And it will be wired out this way. This will come up to be an apex. This will be front, this will be back branches, and give me a few years and this will be nice. This was the apex that was broken off of Ficus nerifoli about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And it's grown into that. Shimpaku. This is a little hinoki cypress. Another hinoki. Everything needs to be wired. This here is just a novelty tree. It's a Citrus medici, or the fingered orange. Kingsville boxwood. Had these for years. They all need to be cut back and worked on. Another Kingsville boxwood. And these are Nagasaki crab apples that they were grown in Japan. Field grown. I've never been able to get a trunk. I've let this grow and everything, so next year it will go in the ground, and so will this one. They do get a lot of blooms every year and a lot of fruit, but I can't develop a trunk on them for some reason. And this was an air layer off a Nagasaki crab apple. And back here is a pretty nice tree. It needs to be wired, but wire this down, do some cutting on it. But this is a blue Atlas cedar, and got cones and all that. Pretty nice tree, but it's been too hot to get out there and work on the trees this summer. Too many 100-degree days. This here it's another one of my figs. I've only had him a couple of years. This tree was sent to me when right after I got out of the hospital a couple of years ago. And let me see here. I don't know if you can see this. This here is a grove of sago palms in an old Chinese pot. I've had this for years. And crawl over my mulch pile here. This will be a Boonjan next year when I get through wiring it and working it over. And oh, I got something else over here I want to show you. Watch your step here. These are I can't even think of the name of them. Scheffleri arbicolis, and this is the one they call Louisiane. And I'm planning on doing a forest planting of them. I think I've got a big long tray I can put them in. I think it'll be kind of neat, you know. And in the back here on the ground is the miniature palms of Japan called Kannon Chiku. It looked like a bamboo, so they named it Chiku before they found out what it really was. This here's another Trident maple that I grew in the ground. He's getting a nice trunk on him. And I don't know the name of this companion plant. I'll find it. I've got the name written down someplace, but this has stems that come up and have white flowers, but it makes a pretty good companion plant. I think it's kind of different looking. Grows from a bulb. And let's see what we got here. This is a one I just got. It's a Brazilian rain tree. And back here, this guy here is what you call the myrtle leaf orange. Chino Nolo, I think, is the name for it. They grow a lot of them in Italy. The weeds sure like growing in the pot with it. And this here is a Japanese golden larch. In the fall of the year, it turns a brilliant yellow. One of my favorite trees. Back here are Satsuki azaleas called Minato, M-I-N-A-T-O, and these are all cuttings off of this big tree right here. Let me set this down. Should have been turned around. It's been growing towards the light. This was a cutting off a tree that my neighbors had in their yard, and this tree has, it's just a mass of red flowers in the spring of the year. Down here is another fig I'm working on. Got a pretty thick trunk. Somebody planted some plants around it. This here is what you call the bean kumquat. Well, I need to set it down so I can. They get a funny root on them at the surface. All of them get that way. But if you look real close, it has fruit all over it. See the fruit down here? And the fruit will turn orange. And then I plant them, and in no time you have more bean kumquats. I give them to everybody. See all the fruit up here? And I know there's more stuff around here, but I fall over it all the time. And oh, back here, these are junipers. Each one of them is grafted. They're perfecta junipers, and there's 17 of them. And someday, some of them will be a group planting. More azaleas down here. I got some figs back there, and this is my mess. Get a shot of that corkbark elm in the ground. You know. Here's another little hinoki. This is another narrow-leaf fig. Another bean kumquat with fruit all over it. And I guess that's about it for now. Oh, here's Japanese 5-needle pine that needs to be worked over. Okay, I guess that's about it. So.